My name is Brian Morrow. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Stayed there till I was like 12 years old. We moved to South Carolina after they shut down the steel mills. Were in my hometown. I lived there for right about 38 years before I came out to Oregon. I've been out here for about 4 years now. I like to say busy. I always like doing woodworking stuff. Lately I've been doing walking sticks. If I find somebody that needs a walking stick, whatever, I'll let them choose out. One of the ones I've already made. I don't charge anybody for them. It's just something that gives me something to do, keeps me out of trouble. And it takes up a good bit of time, so it's something I really enjoy doing. I became homeless when I came out here from South Carolina. I came out on the Greyhound bus, and when I got off the bus, I was off the bus about 15 minutes, and somebody hit me in the back of the head with something. And I woke up a little while later, and I had nothing but the clothes I was wearing. I spent the first 7 months in Portland homeless until I finally found the people that I knew from South Carolina who were from here and moved back out here. And they took me up to their place up in Woodland, and it just didn't work out up there, But when I came back down here, I was working for somebody, and he ended up doing me just like most of the other people I met out here. They took everything I had. So I ended up on the street, and it's taken a lot, but I clawed my way back up, and I'm not gonna let anybody hold me down for very long, with the help of Terry. She's been a godsend to me, and I couldn't have got where I'm at now without Terry's help. I met Terry originally in October of last year. Her granddaughter was moving from one apartment to another, and I volunteered to go help her do that. And there was like, I think 5 of us that went and volunteered to do it. And I don't know what made her choose me, but she called me back a couple times, and I just started coming doing work for her 1 or 2 days a week here and there, and we've actually become pretty good friends now. She helps me out when I need help. She's like having another counselor. We sit down and we eat together and we talk. If I had something that's weighing on my mind, I could talk to her about it, and she's there to talk with me. She's been a rock. Honestly, I don't know. Before I came out here, my dad was killed in a pretty bad car wreck. And that's why I left South Carolina, because somebody was on meth for 5 days, passed out behind the wheel of his car after being up for too long, and he hit my dad head on and killed him instantly. And my dad was my best friend, and that was real hard. Basically, I just do the yard work around here. I rake up, I plant the flowers for her. I come in a couple days a week and water the flowers for her. Basically, just do the upkeep on the yard. And since then, I've got a few other customers in here that I come in and do work for 1 or 2 days a week, and it's helped out a lot. It's like therapy to come in here and keeping up the yards. Meet new people, and people here in this neighborhood are a lot different than most of the other people I've met around Vancouver and Portland. People here aren't stuck up. They're down to earth. They treat you with respect. Whereas most of the other people around here, they don't even talk to you, But everybody here has treated me really good. I mean, I love being in this neighborhood. I actually enjoy coming to work every day, when I have something to do here. 'Cause I know that I'm going to get treated with respect, and nobody looks down on me. Even when I was homeless, nobody looked down on me, That's hard to find around here. Well, I've been doing just landscaping here for, I guess, about 9 months now? Something like that. Before that, I was a carpenter working with my dad in South Carolina, building houses, room additions, whatever we had come up. It gives me pride that I can go back and look and say, I did this. I put all this together, and, it looks good, so it's something I can be proud of. Well, being homeless was rough. I didn't know anybody here when I first got here. I mean, so I didn't know I didn't know where to go to find work. And even when I did find a place to go to find work, nobody would hire me because I didn't have any experience here. I didn't have any resume to show anybody here. And quite honestly, didn't know anything about making a resume. I did construction all my life. I don't know anything about, paperwork, stuff like that, so I found, just doing a lot of bottling, canning, stuff like that, making money. But one thing I will say is I've never asked anybody for something that I couldn't pay back, and I never will. But Terry, she's given me more than I can ever pay back. She's been She's been there for me 100%. My mom passed away 2.5 years ago on Christmas Eve at no day of all days, and so I really don't have any family left. So Terry's my family now. It's been good to me. Yeah, we volunteered to go move her granddaughter from one apartment to another, and it went a lot better than what we thought it was going to do. Got it done a lot quicker than we thought, but it was a good move, and I guess Terry must have liked the way I went about doing things. So she called me, and she's had me come doing work for her here and there for about the last 9 months.
Here's the thing that Brian has. I have had homeless friends for decades, but here is the thing that Brian has, and that is the ability to continue to fight the fight. I see, and I can see why. I'm not sure I could fight the fight myself. I see why people give up. It's so hard, and our society is not. We are not trained or taught how to.
They don't treat homeless people very nice.
Right, Brian. When we talk about that America is a society without classes, that is the biggest lie ever. We are a society of classes. And tragically, the homeless is at the bottom of the rung. So, but Brian, he just kept persevering, and he would call, and he would, be ready to throw in the towel, and I would say, well, I guess you could. I don't know, but I thought you wanted to get off the streets. I thought that you wanted to, at that time he was in a tiny house. And I said, I thought you wanted to be in your own apartment. And he was like, I do. I said, well, then, it's going to be your favorite 4-letter word, work. And so he kept at it. And he called me one day and he said, I'm getting my own apartment. And I said, oh my God. So fast forward a couple weeks, and he calls and he goes, I don't know, maybe they'll take it away from me. I said, what? Why in the hell would you ever think that? I said, that isn't how this works, Brian. You have earned it. You're doing the work. You're staying the steady course. And eventually, I think he believed. I hope
still
you
don't
did.
Really.
I know. Darn it. It takes a long time. I mean, even people that are never homeless have a hard time believing in themselves. But anyway, he has an apartment. He's very proud of it. He sends me pictures. My background is interior design, so he shows me the things that he does, and he's very proud of it, and so am I.
More disbelief than anything. I wasn't going to actually believe it until I was actually in it. So when it finally happened, I couldn't have been happier. I mean, it'd been, 3.5 years in the making. From the time I got off the bus out here to when I got my apartment back in March of this year, I guess. So almost 4 years.
But you went from homelessness to a tiny house and a tiny house. The city of Vancouver has been your friend.
Yeah, yes.
They have been your friend.
I'd say the city has been good to me, especially the Heart team. Some of the people that, there's two in particular, were really there for me. I can't say enough about them. I mean, even when I got into tiny homes, the one fella, he brought me a 43-inch flat screen TV, and I tried to give him some money for it, and he wouldn't take it. So yeah, the city of Vancouver has been great to me. As far as the people, and not to put the people down, but the people here weren't so much there for me. I've had, some bad instances, but for the most part, it's all been good. It was a lot better than being on the street. I mean, it had heat and, air conditioning when it got hot. You didn't have to worry about, you weren't going to go hungry there. With the assistance I get from the state, I've always made sure I have a lot of food, on the ready. I like to cook a lot, so it was nice having a kitchen there at the tiny homes, be able to cook something each night. It was definitely a lot better than being on the street, I'll tell you that much. Just getting people to help support me, getting the police to stay off your back about where you're pitching your tent at. Don't give up. Don't let anybody tell you can't, because when they tell you can't, they're lying to you. And if you let them tell you that you can't, and then you're giving up on yourself. Don't do that.
Yeah, I would say don't give up. I mean, even though it is so incredibly hard, I have intense admiration for every homeless person out there that is living to fight another day. Every single human being deserves basic decency and respect.
The thing I'm most proud of is my friendship with Terry. I mean, she's been there for me, for the last 9 months. In times when I wanted to give up, she wouldn't let me, so yeah, I mean, proud to call her my friend. When you're out there on the street, you really don't have time to think about, what's good, what's bad. You're just, trying to make it through every day. So, I mean, I'd have to really think about it, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any one thing that was exceptionally good or bad either way. Didn't have time to think about that. And, anybody that says they do have time to think about it, they're lying to you, because it just doesn't work like that. It's not like you're going to the Walmart and you're picking out a pair of shoes. You're struggling every day to make, what money you can to, whatever you need. So, I mean, I really never had the luxury of slowing down long enough to think about things like that. Like I said, you're not shopping, you're struggling. It's so much easier for people to just sweep things under the rug instead of actually using the wealth that they do have to help other people. That's all Terry does is help. I don't care if she was down to her last $10. If I needed it and I asked for it, she would help me with it.
You'd have to pay me back.
Yeah, sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, but there's other people out there that are wealthy as they can be. They got somebody, a child that's on the street. It's not their problem, and that's wrong. Why'd you have a child in the first place if you're not going to, help them through the good and the bad? It don't make sense to me. Just take care of your own children. Don't just sweep them under the rug because you think they're going to embarrass you in front of your friends.
And I appreciate him. I appreciate the fight that he gives. I appreciate anybody who works there, does the work that it takes to get yourself ahead in life, because you're either going forwards or you're going back. And I like to bet on winners, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, going backwards don't get you nowhere.
Oh God, no. No.